Welcome back to Block 101, home of value investing in disruptive innovation and tech. I'm your host, Pel, and today I'll be discussing risk. So firstly, I'll start off by defining what risk actually is, okay? And the difference between risk and uncertainty. Risk is inherent in any situation where the outcome is not inevitable. Uncertainty, on the other hand, arises from ignorance and a lack of information. And by definition, the future can't be predicted under conditions of uncertainty because of the insufficient information about what the future outcomes might be and the probabilities of those future events occurring. So that's the difference between risk and uncertainty. Now, why incur risk? It's generally accepted that risk is incurred to achieve competitive advantage. It's accepted by firms and any company that you have to be willing to take risks to achieve greater returns. To generate high returns, a company will usually have to take on more risk in order to be more competitive. And conversely, on the flip side of that, businesses or companies that are more risk adverse or dislike taking as much risk tend to be less dynamic. But it also depends on your position in the market. So let's say, for instance, you're a market leader. A market leader doesn't really need to take on excessive amounts of risk because they're already the market leader. Do you understand? Whereas a startup must be more willing to take on risk in order to be more competitive and gain market share. Now, in terms of dealing with risk, really you need to look at the level of risk involved in that given activity, whether it's low or high. And you also have to look at the ability to gain a competitive advantage from that risk, which may be low or high. And you can fit this on a matrix, which I will show on the side, which should pop up. So let's say, for instance, you have an activity which is low risk, but the ability to gain competitive advantage is also low. That would be a routine activity. Now, if you've got an activity that is high risk, but the ability to gain competitive advantage is low, then you want to avoid that activity or that endeavor pursuit altogether. It doesn't make sense. The risk to reward ratio is low. Now, if you've got an activity which is low risk, but the ability to gain competitive advantage is high, you want to identify these and you want to develop these opportunities. But if the activity is high risk and the ability to gain competitive advantage is also high, then you want to examine these opportunities carefully. Now, let's say, for instance, let's take blockchain and AI, for example. Now, blockchain, for instance, is a high risk activity, but the ability to gain competitive advantage is also high, and it's dependent on the industry that you're existing in. So let's say, for instance, you may see blockchain and cryptocurrencies. You can see the use case within financial services and the finance industry. Companies that will utilize blockchain technology, the ability to gain competitive advantage from that opportunity may be high, which is why a lot of startups are pursuing that area and developing products and services resolving that. But there's also inherent risks within that activity as well. There's regulatory uncertainty within the US market regarding cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology. So with that activity and that opportunity, you want to examine it carefully, which is why it's taking a long time. If you look at AI, on the other hand, AI has the potential to touch every industry. Yeah, you can see the benefits. It's been shown over the last 12 months, basically. So you see a lot of companies racing towards releasing products and services that utilize AI because the ability to gain a competitive advantage is enormous, it's huge. And the activity risk is somewhat low to medium, I would say. When done correctly, when developed correctly, it's low to medium. It's a lot lower than blockchain. It's a lot lower than cryptocurrencies at the moment. So you'll see more institutions, you'll see more adoption, you'll see more efforts from established and market leaders, such as your Google, such as your Microsoft, pursuing AI opportunities more so than blockchain opportunities. Even though a regulatory framework for AI isn't really in place as yet, as at this moment, but the risks are generally considered to be lower than blockchain or cryptocurrencies. And when you're in an environment where you've got limited funds, you've got to choose which activities you're investing in, which opportunities you're pursuing carefully to, which one's going to bring about the greatest return on investment, which one's got the best potential of giving you a competitive advantage. And at the moment, I would say it's AI. I hope you found value within this video. I will be doing another video in terms of how to manage risk, how to go about managing risk, using a very popular framework that we use in project management. So stay tuned for that. See if you have any comments or if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you found this video useful, hit the like button, share it with a friend, and I'll see you next time. Pell, Block 101, home of value investing in disruptive innovation and tech.